Yes, yes, you are. You are tuned in. You are locked in to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. It is Friday, the 12th of September, 2025. And it's fair to say it's been a heck of a week. We are streaming on Rumble. We are streaming on X. We are streaming on YouTube. And we are always streaming at WYAB.com. If you're not listening to us on the radio waves, you can always catch us there. We sure do appreciate your support. I really would appreciate it if y'all gave me a follow on X. It's just at Andrew Gasser. And if you're listening on Rumble or X or YouTube, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that'd be great. Just help get the information out there because the mission at the Andrew Gasser Show, standard. We are here to equip the saints. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid. And that's going to kind of be the motivating factor going forward today. I've got all sorts of stuff to talk about. After the show went off yesterday, I did do 3 hours. I think Lindsay and Sean will be back this afternoon, which is great, but never mind filling in when I can for them. And we had a lot to talk about, but that third hour really fired a lot of you up. Some people didn't like the fact that I was kind of talking down to people who were running for office if they couldn't afford it. Why go out and buy yourself $1 million home if you can't afford the mortgage? But we're going to talk about that. The first thing I really want to talk about is this AI advertising on social media, and they're grifting off of Charlie Kirk. I'm looking at My Faith World, sponsored. It's AI. This is what it says. Hashtag TPUSA, rip to Charlie Kirk, American flag emoji, true patriots never fail, Christian cross, arrow, wear our authentic TPUSA shirt to the support the cause of Charlie believed in. And it says, this is Turning Point. It's got a American flag and it's got Charlie Kirk's signature, but it doesn't necessarily look like how Charlie wrote his name. My point to this is if you really want to support Charlie Kirk, the mission that Turning Point USA does, if you go to Turning Point USA, go to their merch shop and buy the merch there. Yes, it's going to be more expensive, but you are supporting the movement that Charlie started all those years ago. We don't need any of this Timu fake hot garbage, and it ticks me off. I actually tried to report this as advertising or false advertising and grifting. And when I hit the button here, I'm going to do it right now while we're talking on there. Report this ad. Boom. I hit report, and it just sits there and it says selling restricted violence, hate, or exploitation. They are exploiting the death of Charlie Kirk. I kick that, and it just stops right there, and it won't allow me to. It just won't let me go down to take that last step. It doesn't give me the thanks for reporting ad. It just sits there and says, nope, you can't do it. So just be on the lookout for that as you're going around and you're seeing people. I really wanted to say that before I started all the other stuff. Yes, they did apprehend a suspect who they believe is the shooter who murdered Charlie Kirk. It's alleged. Of course, he still has to go to the court of law, but they got him pretty much dead to rights. And I have the press conference, and I don't want to play the whole clip because it's like 30 minutes long, and that's just easy radio, cheap radio, and I respect you all too much to do that. But I do want to have the words of the governor of Utah, and I believe it's about 4 minutes and 83 seconds. I'm going to let it run unedited. I'm not going to play any of what Cash has to say or what anybody else has to say, but this first clip I feel is important because honestly, it's like you're finally starting to see closure start to happen. We need justice for Charlie. We need to make sure that we completely utilize the legal system and allow it to operate, which means it's going to, while it's going fast now, it's going to slow down. He's going to get lawyered up. There's going to be all sorts of stuff going on. They're going to try to claim all sorts of craziness. But without further ado, I just want to let the governor speak, and I think we'll all be better edified for this.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there's been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I will share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, what's this, question mark." Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow, and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
And that's where I want to stop it right there. So the first thing is I'm happy that the state of Utah, in conjunction with the FBI and the Utah Special Bureau of Investigations, all came together and we were able to get this guy. But it also goes to show you how flawed humanity really is. In that he went on Discord and was just saying this stuff. It just goes to show you that this truly wasn't an inside job. Because the professionals wouldn't be doing stuff like that. I'm just here to tell you. That's not how this works. Apparently, the young man confessed his crime to his father, who happened to be a 27-year law enforcement veteran. And got the priest over, and they walked him in to the local sheriff's, and that was the end of him. Not in death, but he was taken into custody. He was actually taken into custody last night at around 11. This is what also gives me hope for our law enforcement and the country moving forward, is people know how to keep their mouth shut when something's going down. Unlike the Biden administration or even the first Trump administration with all those losers who were in the Trump administration leaking information and harming and potentially damaging our national security. It is a credit to the FBI, the Utah Special Bureau of Investigations, the Sheriff's Department. Quite frankly, it's a credit to that family. They could have blabbed it. They could have put it out there, but they didn't. And it begins to heal the nation. I'll tell you what, I genuinely think back. This is definitely the worst news that this country has had since 9/11. Before that, it would have to be the 3 political assassinations in the 60s, and then probably before that, World War II and the Civil War. I mean, this is a maybe top 5, top 10 for sure, bad day for America. And like the caller said yesterday, the tree of liberty often needs to be watered with the blood of patriots, and, that's what Charlie did. It's something that, quite frankly, many of us prayed would never happen, but at some point, we knew something was gonna happen, whether it was to Charlie, whether it was to Trump, whether it was to somebody else. This demonic leftist ideology is rampant. It is spreading all over America. And the truth is, it's because our schools don't teach our history. We're taught to be offended and get angry. We have no accountability for our actions in society anymore. You can go on all sorts of social media outlets and rant and rave, and most of the time, nothing will happen to you. But when Charlie was murdered, and you know what? I've got it sitting right here in front of me. This is from the Mississippi Free Press. They can't even call it a murder. Charlie Kirk, who helped build and support support for Trump among young people, dies after campus shooting. He was murdered. You know, our media in America is completely taken over by communists. They can't report journalism without opinion and bias. And you will always hear people on the right trying to correct it, and we're fired up about it, and they're saying that you're just taking it too seriously. This is just what it is. No, words mean things. When you say things, when you allow things to happen, bad stuff happens. When you allow demons to go unchecked, the culture shifts and bad things happened. I genuinely feel, not after the death of Charlie, but I felt yesterday the country is actually turning. Some people are calling it the fourth turn. I don't know, but I've always had a gift of understanding the political twists and turns, and people are just fed up with the left. My senior political advisor was telling me about a link, and I looked it up. Hundreds and hundreds of those people in the middle who listen, like people like who listen to the show, who they're not sure if they're on the left or the right, they're in the middle. They always take stuff in. They don't want to be tied down to any one party because they're not sure they like the ideological thought process behind it. They want to remain independent. So many of you who are in that category have moved further to the right because of this. And if you go on TikTok, you go on X, you even go on Facebook, you'll see them leaving. And the truth of the matter is we're just getting started. The president of the United States, the Congress, and the DOJ have to go after these pharmaceutical companies who have allowed the medical market to prescribe all of these puberty blockers. I mean, I'm gonna say for the sake of this example that most of us are over the age of 30 and probably don't remember going through puberty too much, but have memories of it. It's not fun. Your body's changing. You're like, "What the heck's going on?" I can't speak for what the woman's body does, but man, I can remember talking and my voice breaking all the time. It was terrible. The first 3 weeks of choir, and I was in choir for 4 years in high school, loved it. Singing is beautiful. I got to be on the worship team. It's just great. The first 3 weeks, 3, 4 weeks, maybe a month, I was a baritone tenor, and by the end, I was a bass. Oh yeah, you know it, baby. Mm. My body was changing, and my voice would crack, and Mr. Flora would look at me, give me this look, I'm like, "Man, I'm sorry, it's just what it is." And to have these kids get prescribed these puberty blockers that are gonna try to keep them a kid, to try to keep them a certain way, it's evil. It's not good. And now you've got these doctors who do all these crazy surgeries. Nah, man. Our culture needs to turn. We need to get back to where we were, and we're gonna get there. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We are off and running, and we will be right back. And we are back at the Andrew Gosser Show. If you want to be part of the program today, the number is 601-879-0002. The text line is open at 601-879-5060. And I do have some awesome texts that I want to get to. Brother Junk wrote in, he goes, I grieve for Erica, Charlie's wife, and those two kids that will never grow up with their daddy. I just can't process it. You know what? I think you speak for a lot of people, Junk. I do. I think there are so many people out there who just can't handle this kind of evil. And it's despicable. Go ahead, you're on the air.
What's up, my man, Andrew?
Hey, how's it going, my friend?
I want to share something with you. I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
I am amazed at the number of text messages and phone calls that I've gotten from people after this Charlie Kirk issue, this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And these people that are calling me are quoting to me the same scripture and the same thoughts, and the unity and the consistency of the reflections of this and the perception to me is chilling. This has set off a chain reaction amongst believers that I have never seen before. And I'm thinking, really? That's the same scripture I was thinking about. Well, this is what I was saying. And I'm like, how can all of these people be thinking the same thing at the same time? There's only one answer for that. We're about to see an awakening that you've never seen before. And it's not coming from the old hands. This is young people.
Yep. Go ahead.
It's the young people. And I'm encouraged by it because people are taking a position on a platform and sharing truth. And you better believe it. There are people inside the government, and we talked about this yesterday, Republican and Democrat, that do not want to hear the truth of Jesus Christ. And that's what Charlie Kirk was killed for. Not because he was conservative, not because he was Republican, because they want to shut down the truth. They want to close the door because people that are against this know no political party. They are very simple. Satan does not like the truth, and that was Satan striking out. This transgender business, all that is the root of evil, and it's rolling.
Yep.
But it's about to roll back.
Well,
now that was my thought. Let me ask you another question because it ended yesterday. Do you think we're safer now than we were at the occurrence of 9/11?
You know, that's a good question.
Here's my reflection on that.
Go ahead.
You remember the shoe bomber?
I do.
Okay. So we took our shoes off for 25 years. These people are not going to do another shoe bomb. They're going to change. We're being reactive instead of proactive. What are we doing? Because there's enough smart people out there to figure out what their next attempt might be and what it might be. These people are smart enough to know what could occur, but we're still pulling shoes off. I think they finally stopped doing it. But I mean, holy cow, 25 years, we're still taking shoes off. Guys, really? Come on.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, there are units and groups out there that's their whole mission in life is to think of new and creative ways to attack the homeland. And I don't want to go down too far down that rabbit hole. But what I would say is that, are we safer? You know, I honestly can't say, yes, we're safer, or no, we're not. I can make the argument, no, we are not safer. In the past 6 years, we've allowed somewhere between 12 and 24 million illegal aliens into this country, some of who have been trained by paramilitary, terrorists, and other organizations. And they're operating within the confines of the United States of America right now. They're operating inside the state of Mississippi right now. They are operating inside Rankin, Hines, Warren, Madison, in Copiah County right now. They're here. And you know what? They're not doing anything. They're not actively carrying out any effects or missions, but they're here. So are we safer? If you say we're safer because we're not having incidences, then I can say, yep, we're safer. But are we safer for something that could potentially go big? I mean, just think about it. If 0.1% of 24 million are actively trained agents, terrorists, or otherwise bad actors, that's a lot of people. It will completely overswamp our law enforcement. And this is
Well,
taking nothing away from our law enforcement, but it will completely overswarm it. And do the American people have the integrity and the ability to defend themselves? I don't know. I honestly don't think we do.
well, I don't know if it was you that told me about the conversation that was shared between officers in Germany.
I don't think that was me.
Okay, officers in Germany, they're stationed, and of course they mingle and move around and go to bars and what have you. And this particular lieutenant was having a conversation with a Russian official, a officer in the Russian army, and he told him, he said, "Listen, we have played every scenario militarily out. We have a response for every possible response that the United States military can have, and we win in every scenario." He said, "The one scenario we cannot plan for is the armed public in the United States." He said, "That's one scenario we just can't find. We cannot find a for sure victory because that is the X factor. And as long as we've got that, it really makes a difference."
Well, it does. But the the communists in Russia, Stalin and Khrushchev, actually did have a plan for that, and they're executing it right now. In fact, go back and look at what Khrushchev said. We'll get them from the inside out through their education system. I mean, this is all laid out. They're going to go after nuclear family. Then they're going to go after the women's liberalism and feminism. And then they're going to go ahead and start dividing the families up. And look at where we are right now. I mean, brother, we got families that don't talk to each other because they're either suffering from TDS or they're so pro-Trump they don't want to deal with it. And we are having to divide. But like I was saying in the opening segment, and brother, I got to let you go because I'm up against a break. But yes, not the day that Charlie Kirk was murdered, but yesterday there was a turning in this nation. And when you brought it up in your first point, when you said all these believers are coming together and quoting the same scripture, that's the Holy Spirit moving. And I've got a lot more to say about that. But brother, I got to take a commercial break.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
Yep. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back. Yeah, man, this show is firing and just it's flowing and it's good. And that call was awesome. You know, I've been doing a lot of reading, not on a computer, but in books, and I'm finding myself so much more relaxed because I'm unplugged and I'm not getting this constant trigger dopamine hit that I've got to hit the next like, I got to hit the next whatever. And what it's opening up to me, what I'm starting to see is that this country is a spiritual country. And I don't think it's going to be Monday. I think it's going to be Tuesday. But we are going to have a civics lesson, and you're not going to want to miss it. And it's going to be something that was taught to kids back in the 1920s, but they're not taught in the 2020s. And it's going to shock you. And I guarantee so many of us are going to learn from it. And we're going to be like, that's the thing. You know, one of the major problems that we have today is that we've put the church in a box. Don't want to hear about it. Don't want to hear about it. I go to Sunday, I tithe, and that's it. Well, how's that working out for us? This just came through my timeline as I was getting ready to move into the next group of stuff that I want to do. Representative Nancy Mace is introducing a resolution authorizing Charlie Kirk to lie in honor in the Capitol Rotunda, should the Kirk family wish for him to be honored there. And I got to tell you, at first I was like, nah, this is grandstanding. But the more I think about it, I want that. If Erica and Charlie's parents want him to go there, I say do it. He has had more impact. He's a martyr, you know, and he loved this country. And I just think it's a good thing. Lauren Stokes, good old Chad, pointed this out. Lauren Stokes, the Old Miss employee who got smoked, she got fired. I want to say the job that she held there. She was like chief assistant to the provost. I mean, it was a high paying job at the chancellor's office. Chief assistant to the chancellor's office. I mean, that's like a $95,000 a year job. And she's gone from that, fired quickly. And you are starting to see this all over the internet. Because of my algorithm on X, I see a lot of military stuff. You know, I'm an honorably retired Air Force veteran. I'm proud of that. I want to keep my Air Force strong. I want to keep my Navy strong because I served both. I know it's kind of weird, but it is what it is. And the number of active duty sailors and airmen who are, number one, in uniform, and number two, cheering at the murder of a U.S. citizen that they've sworn and uphold to defend, it is alarming. And it's just not the young enlisted dudes or the young junior officers. These are colonels, lieutenant colonels, commanders of boats, commanders of units who are attached to SF units. The cancer, the rot that is this incredible liberalism is sunk in all throughout the military. And you know what? Good on Pete Hegseth. You know, he came out, if you go at Pete Hegseth on X, he says, keep it coming. They are investigating everyone that targets, that tags them, whether you do Sec War, Sec Def, Pete Hegseth, they're looking into this. And man, they are going to have a lot of administrative discharges. So guess what? That means there are going to be more openings in the military for people to go up there and start taking their military back. I'm grateful for that. That is a genuine way out if you are trapped in a bad situation where you can exfiltrate yourself from that situation. Improve your I mean, I had a rough upbringing, and I knew that if I would have stayed where I was, I wasn't gonna end up somewhere good. One day I was on the north side of Chicago, the next day I was in San Diego, and 8 weeks later, I was well on my way to becoming something that I would have never thought I could be. So, this Lauren Stokes has actually got onto Facebook, and you know what? I'm even gonna tweet it because I think people need to see what she posted as I read it. And if you go to Andrew Gosser, at Andrew Gosser on X, I appreciate a follow, but you can find her post right there. And I'm going to read it right here. She wrote this about 9 hours ago. 9 hours ago. That means she was up at basically 2 o'clock in the morning. Her life is ruined. Her life is destroyed. I am so truly and deeply sorry to those who I have offended. We are lucky enough to know and employ people from all walks of life: trans, MAGA, cat lovers, dog lovers, Republicans, independents, and Democrats. In all facets, we strive to be kind and hold space for all. My husband and I do not support violence of any sort. This repost of my private account was not kind. It was reposted in a heated moment on the internet. Never heard of that, or never heard of such, exclamation point. I apologize to those I've offended, and I look forward to getting off the internet to reevaluate kindness, privacy, and respect for all. So there is two ways to look at this. Two ways. One, you can say, you hypocrite, you lying sack of stuff. You're only posting this now because you got caught. You're only sorry because you got caught. The stuff that you were posting, unconscionable. And by the way, you work at a prestigious university in the state of Mississippi. Old Miss. Assistant to the chancellor, I think is what it was. You know, I've been talking over the past couple weeks about the college experience and my daughter getting ready to go to college. I'm openly telling my wife now and my daughter, I don't want her to go. The young man who murdered Charlie Kirk went to college as a Christian conservative and was radicalized at his time at university. No, I do not want my daughter going. And I don't know where she's going to college yet, so I'm not shaming any university or college. I'm not saying that. If we've got these teachers and people like this woman in positions of power promoting trans, promoting hatred, promoting anything goes, hating on God, no. Don't want it. Much rather have her work in a trade. Much rather have her close to home, selfishly. Yes. I'm the parent. I'm supposed to make sure I make the best choices I can for my daughter to have the most successful in life, whether that be economically, spiritually, or otherwise. And there are hundreds and hundreds of teachers. I see your phone caller. You're just going to have to hang on. I'll put you on hold. There are hundreds and there's thousands and thousands of teachers who are cheering the murder of Charlie Kirk. And I'm just saying our education needs to be flushed down the toilet too. All those people out. And I don't feel guilty for saying that. The other way to go, and that's a very human response. You know, that's a very fleshy response. The other way is to go for forgiveness. like the good book says. Turn the other cheek. I struggle with that. I know a lot of you are struggling with that too. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back. Oh, yeah. First hour is already in the can. So we've got teachers being fired. We got military people getting kicked out of the military for cheering on the death of Charlie Kirk. But you know who they're also trying to get rid of? Let me pull this up right here. I want to make sure that I get this right. They're trying to get rid of Chris Pratt, everybody. Chris Pratt made a post saying that he was praying for Charlie Kirk and his family, and the morons at Marvel started complaining about that and said that they want him removed. Look, this is a true battle between good and evil, and which way is our culture going to go? And those of you sitting there trying to say, "Oh, I'm in the middle. I'm believing God, but I don't want to bring it up. I don't want to be." That is not what this country is made from, born on, or where it's going. We are going to have to make a decision. Do we want to keep our Constitution and God, or do we just scrap it and go on the way that globalism wants us to go? Because that's really the two ways forward. Me, I'd take 1982 in a heartbeat. Some of you would want to go back further, but that's about my recollection point. So we've got two ways we can go. There are all sorts of other stories that I want to talk to. In the next hour, I do have to play a clip from Benny Thompson and his thought on Charlie, because it just dropped, and I want to make sure I get it chopped up correctly. I also want to talk about Jim Acosta and just a quick snippet of how screwed up they are, how the ratings at MSNBC and CNN are just absolutely abysmal. You know, in a national tragedy, normally people would flock to those news agencies to get their coverage. No one's going, except the extreme lunatic left who embraces what happened with the murder of Charlie Kirk. Those are the only people who are there. We should use it as a collection agent. Heck, we've signed over our collection for our phones. The government can go in there and just snipe off whatever they want to snipe off. Why not get that information too? It's not like we're having that problem there, but they're absolutely crashing. And Jim Acosta is so tone deaf. So we got to talk about that. I also want to talk about elections and running for office because, man, I took some heat. Poor Ponto. I took some heat for saying people shouldn't run for office if they can't afford it. And we're going to really break that down. I want to. Because I don't want people to run for office just to be good try and get the participation medal. I've never been about participation medals. You know what, when you go into combat, do you want the participation medal or do you want to win? And I'm not talking about combat as in military. I'm talking about spiritual combat, political combat, business combat. This whole participation trophy mentality that the United States has come over the last 25 years, we need to throw that in the garbage and burn it. Burn it with holy fire. Get rid of that nonsense.
The Lord Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, took home his servant, Charlie Kirk, to be with him right now in paradise. I don't know why. It is hard to bear, and it is hard to overcome. But this I do know, Laura. Charlie Kirk is a martyr. Charlie Kirk is an American martyr. Charlie Kirk is a Christian martyr. Charlie Kirk gave his life for this country and for his faith. He died as he lived spreading salt and light to some of the darkest corners of our nation and culture, and living with a full heart. And we must rise up with that same full heart and venerate him and remember him by continuing his work. And that work would be this: to defeat the blackened evil that is overcoming our culture right now and fight it back with truth and good and light. Charlie always had a hopeful heart, and he always had a positive outlook. He is the single most honorable and noble, passionate visionary I have ever known or will ever know. There will never be another one like him. God called home his servant today, and we must all set about the work and the business of honoring Charlie by defeating that evil. God help us. This is America's turning point.
Yeah, that'll work. Boom. Yes, you are. You are tuned in to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. It is hour number 2 on Friday, the 12th of September, 2025. And we are streaming on Rumble. And we are streaming on X. We are streaming on YouTube. And we are streaming on WYAB.com. In case you can't get the radio signal, you can always find us there. If you want to be part of the program today, 601-879-0002. The text line is open, 601-879-5060. And the mission here at the Andrew Gosser Show, standard. We are here to equip the saints. And we're about to give some tough love. Whoever loves discipline and loves knowledge. But whoever hates correction is stupid. So if you love discipline, you'll love knowledge. You don't like discipline, well, you're just dumb. And there's no other way to say it. I have good friends who disagree with me vehemently on this, and I respect them, and I will gladly debate this in an open forum if anybody wants to. I want people to get involved in politics. I want people to be involved in their local governments, their state governments, their county governments, their city municipal governments. But simply running to run because you're not happy with what's there and to be a quote unquote protest candidate, in my opinion, is foolish. And let me tell you why. And then if you disagree with me, feel free to call in and we can talk about it. There are really good, smart people who would do a heck of a better job than whoever we've got in, let's say, the mayoral position. But they've never ran for office in their life. They've never fundraised in their life. They've never even really gone out into the local neighborhood to meet people and talk to people. And then 15 days before filing deadline, they're like, yep, I'm going to run. And so they put their paperwork in, and all of a sudden everybody looks up and you get that quick little dopamine hit. Maybe you get your name in the local paper, got a Facebook page, Twitter account, got the TikTok. You even spend $500 or $600, get your URL, your own website. And that's about all you know. You've never figured out how to make a walk list, how you're going to go out and contact people who are your voters, not necessarily the voters, and there is a difference. You are sitting there and you've got the best of intentions. I would even give you so much credit as to say you've thought about it and you've written out a statement of why you're running for office. And it's good. It's not like I just feel that the community needs more representation. The community needs to have more heart in its decision-making process. No, you've got real decisions. The water sucks. The mayor's corrupt. We're $30 million in the hole. I'm a successful businessman. I run a budget and I'll turn this place around. You've got real fire. But you have absolutely no clue how to do a mailer. You have no idea how much a mailer would cost. You don't have an army. You don't even know how many precincts are in your municipality that you're going to have to walk. You haven't calculated how much time and energy it's truly going to take to run for office. But you grind it out, and you even get somebody who has some campaign knowledge to come in and help you pro bono. You figure out, hey, this is how I get the voter data. You order the voter data. I will give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you even get the right voter data instead of having to order the voter data 3 times because you keep on screwing up the request. And now you've got to make a mailer and a walk piece. You got to get your picture taken professionally. You can't just use some clip art nonsense. You sit there and now you've got it's two-sided, and you've got to figure out, where am I going to actually have this printed? Who's going to actually mail it? Am I going to have an email program where people can register on my website so we can take people in to have walk parties? Who's going to introduce me to my people that I need to vote for me? Who's going to have fundraisers for me? Who's going to have coffees for me, meet and greets? Oh, Andy, you're just talking nonsense. You're just talking nonsense. You don't need to do all that. That just seems like it's just too much. Oh, you're just going to have one mailer, but you need 3. And that could end up being, some mailers, $15,000 a shot. And now I know that there's some political campaign people say, oh, 15,000 is too much, but it's not. Mailers are expensive. Oh, and now we need signs, but not only do we need signs, but we need different size signs. And where are we going to put these signs? Signs don't vote, but you need to show that you have momentum. And then this is the one that just puts me over the edge, man. There's that song back in the 80s, Dream Warriors. Man, they need to come out with a song called Facebook Warriors. You've got a Facebook Warrior team with a chest full of medals, bronze mouse clicks, golden mouse clicks, platinum star responder, supporter. You are saturating the Facebook market. And you don't even realize that the people on Facebook made up their mind to vote months ago. And the influence there is not what it used to be. You don't realize that the Facebook algorithm mutes your speech, especially if you're conservative. You don't realize that your opponent is running wild on places like Instagram and TikTok. You use YouTube, but YouTube stifles your algorithm, and you don't have many followers there, so the algorithm doesn't even pick up your shorts. And now you've got the voter data back, and you still don't know how many votes you need to actually win the election. We need to encourage people to run. Yeah, you need people to run. But you need to know what you're getting yourself into before you do it. If you run, and here's the other thing too. This is something that is absolutely insane to me. It is, quote unquote, cheap to run for office in Mississippi compared to a different state. But what quote unquote cheap really is a whole nother discussion. I've watched people spend $20,000 to run for office, county supervisor, and lose. I've watched people run for county supervisor with $7,500 and win. You don't have a campaign plan. You don't have dates and targets set. You don't have growth metrics. You don't have ways to measure yourself, whether you're being effective or ineffective. You haven't even put in a contingency plan, crisis action team. And not like it matters, but then you've got the DUI that you had back in 1996 that's on your record that your opponent's going to exploit. And how are you going to explain that away? But I don't like the person that's there. That's great. I'm telling you, if you want to run for office, start running 2 years before the election. For local. Within a county. So maybe you got like 6 or 7 precincts. 2 years. People say, Andy, that's too much. Well, it might be. I'm just telling you what I did. I never lost. Andrew, you're being arrogant. I'm just telling you the truth. I never lost. And I get angry and I get frustrated because I tell the people all the time, and I'm not picking on anybody, but I say, look, the 2028 is coming inside the Republican Party. You really want to honor Charlie Kirk? A bunch of you Turning Point USA people need to become precinct delegates and just steamroll the Mississippi Republican GOP convention in 2028. Some of those elections for precinct delegate, you can win with 2 people. I know people who lost their precinct delegate race by 1 person. And they didn't even bring anybody to the delegation. The other side brought 2, the other person brought themselves, and they lost. It's 2025. This is coming up in 2028. You've got years to figure this out. Years. I know it won't happen. Politics is a game of attention spans. And things change quickly. The hate texts are coming in. It's funny. Yes, this does work with the Democrat Party too. So you want to run for office, but you're running for office like a congressman, or let's just go congressman. We'll just start that. So there are 81 or 83. Forgive me. I don't know how many counties are in Mississippi. It's either 81 or 83. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, your congressional district has 25 precincts in it. You are going to need to have a campaign plan, or I'm sorry, not 25 precincts, 25 counties. You're going to have a campaign plan for each county. And inside each one of those counties could be 25 to 30 precincts. So you're going to need a precinct or a game plan for each precinct inside that county. And you're going to decide to run against a sitting congressman with 3 months to go. People might not even like Benny Thompson. But he's got a game plan in place, and he's working it right now. How are you going to fundraise for something like that when you haven't proven that you can fundraise for county supervisor, but you want to be a congressman? And people say, Andy, it's all about the money. Well, it kind of is when it comes to races that big. There is a way to, quote unquote, buy an election. You know, if you're a bazillionaire and you want to be a county supervisor and you just start off and you can throw $50,000, $60,000 away like it's no big deal, you'll win. You'll go hire a great campaign strategist, run your campaign. He'll get it all figured out. And if he's good, he'll have it to you in 2 or 3 days. He'll have it all laid out. You execute and you win. You just mail bomb it. He'll still have you walk a little bit, but you can do it quick, but it takes a lot of money. Whereas if you do it organically, like so many of us think, go door to door, get to meet your people, get to meet your neighbors, understand what you're running for, why you're running for, why you're better than Sally Sue, who's sitting in the mayoral's office. I'm not sure if there is a mayor named Sally Sue, but if there is, I'm not talking about you. It's just the first name that popped to my mind. But I'll tell you this, I will always sit down and listen to people and give them honest opinion, but it hurts the conservative movement when we have conservatives who run for office and do so poorly that it brings down future people's opportunity to run. Andy, you have to support their candidates. Yeah. Well, I support them, but I don't have to sit there and throw my life on or my political career away just to support yours. People know I'm not running again. I'd never run. And clip it. It's the 12th of September, 2025 at 11:23 and 13 seconds in the morning. Andrew Grosser declares he's never running for office ever. Clip it. My whole hope in life, yeah, I'm gonna hold that. My whole goal in life is to help people run for office, but make sure that they have a winning strategy and they start early enough. This is some tough love, man. There's a lot of conservatives out there. I see you texting, but if you start too late, it's not going to end well for you. And so many conservatives who are almost cussed, so ticked off at the state GOP or the county GOP, you won't even get involved in the local GOP. There is a great book out there for y'all to read. It's called How the Democrats Won Colorado and Why Every Republican should care. That book changed my life, politically speaking. If you are a conservative, you need to get on Amazon Prime right now and order that. Don't get the audio book, order it and read it. Don't read it in 2 or 3 days like you can. Study it. Take it like a science class. I got a lot more to say on this, but man, I went way long. But after yesterday, I had to respond diligently and articulately to that. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back. Yeah, I like this song. Grind it out. Tell it like it is. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. Spitting fire on getting elected, running campaigns. The hate is real. It's all right. It'll make you stronger. Maybe it'll make you get your game plan done 6 weeks earlier instead of 3. Hey, let's take a quick phone call real quick. Hey, hello, you there?
Hello.
How's it going?
Doing good. I'm just thinking about some things. I don't know, just not trying to interrupt the current conversation that's been going on or anything, but I guess am I on there?
You are?
Oh, okay. Well, cool. My name's Elijah. I've pretty much lived here my whole life here, right here in Central Mississippi, And I mean, like regarding like the whole the Ole Miss teacher, I guess they've fired now.
She was assistant to the chancellor.
Whatever it was. Okay. All right. I don't know. I got me thinking about something. But I don't know. I don't know anyone else to talk to about it. But I mean, why not? I listen to the station a lot, so why not? I guess why not call in? I don't know. But I went to school. I mean, my entire time I went to school, it was like I think 1992 to about 2005 or whatever. And I never went to any college or anything like that. Just straight from high school to work. But
yep. What do you do for a living?
Construction, like residential construction work.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's nothing too glamorous or anything like that, but it's a.
Do you work hard?
I feel like I try to.
Do you feel like you make an honest living?
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah, that's I feel good about it. So, not out there trying to screw anybody over or anything like that. So.
Yep.
But I mean, that entire time I was in school, like I mean, of course, us, the kids, we'd always have, there'd be jokes and things like that about, the certain teachers kind of mean or something like that, whatever. But I've never, ever, nobody in any, none of the teachers or administrators, nothing like that. I could never imagine any of them like, celebrating something like, what's happened, this week. Like I just, it blows my mind. I don't know.
Do you think it's because our culture has become more and more desensitized, more attracted to getting the clicks and the dopamine hits than actually being a useful citizen?
I think that is a great deal to do with it. I mean, like you were talking about earlier, and then there are folks like that that are teachers now. I mean, and it's frightening to think about. They're teaching our children. I mean, whatever they feel like, whatever they feel like planting in their heads. That's what I mean, it's I don't know. It's a scary thought. I don't know.
Brother Elijah, do you support Ole Miss firing that lady, or do you think that they should be allowed to stay?
Yeah, I mean, somebody's publicly saying something like that. Yeah, I mean, that's let that person go. I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, that's people. It shouldn't be accepted to glorify death like that. That is just absolutely wrong in my opinion.
I was talking.
You don't have to agree, but I mean, like.
I was talking to a friend of mine, and they were talking about there were 3,000 people who watched Charlie Kirk get murdered, and now they have that image ingrained in their mind.
Yeah. It's horrible. In my years growing up, I've seen some nasty things on the internet and stuff like that. Yep. I mean, and it's not like he's somebody that I knew or anything like that, but like kind of like musicians and actors and things like that. You follow certain people, you kind of you're like
mm-hmm.
you enjoy watching and then keeping up with these people, and I don't know,
yep.
It's just to see something like that happen live, like a young man. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know.
31 years old.
Yeah, I've only got 7 more years on him. I'm not too much older than he was, and I mean.
It's tough, brother. Elijah, I really appreciate the phone call, my man.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You have a safe.
I keep myself most of the time. It's nice to call somebody and talk to you.
Yeah, dude. Well, definitely call back. I know you're out there part of the blue collar crew, working and busting it in the heat. Stay hydrated, my friend.
Yeah. it's nice to sit in the truck and eat lunch sometimes and do this. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you think enough of
Yeah.
WYAB and myself to allow us to play in your truck. And you have a good one,
Yeah,
all right?
absolutely. Absolutely. You do the same. Thank you.
Amen, brother. Take care.
Amen. Thank you.
Brother Elijah checking in, having a hard time believing that we've got people on the public dole who are doing this in our education system. Before we go to the break real quick, because this has to be a quick segment, many of you knew that there was a Secret Service agent who was cheering the murder of Charlie Kirk. And U.S. Senator from Tennessee, Marsha Blackburn, put him on blast. And I'm happy to report within the last hour, he's been placed on administrative leave and about to be terminated. And, as Brother Clay Edwards would say, fool around, you find out. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back. Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show. I will not let you down. I might fire up a little bit, but I will not let you down. You know who else will not let you down? My brother Stephen Arrington over at Elite Custom Construction LLC over there in Pearl, Mississippi. If you need some work done in your kitchen, you're looking to get some new cabinets, maybe you need a new countertop, sink replaced, or maybe you're going big. You're going to go put in an outdoor patio and do an outdoor kitchen. You need to talk to my man, Stephen Arrington. High quality work, custom milling, custom built, nothing just press board. This is top quality equipment and products and materials that he uses to build these custom kitchens and decks. If you're interested, please give him a call at 601-927-0552. That's 601-927-0552, or check him out online at elitecustomconstruction.net. I really appreciate Stephen for supporting the show. And that last segment was just awesome with Elijah, wasn't it? I told you, blue collar crew is out there. They're doing work. They're moving Mississippi forward, one job at a time. I've talked about this person on the show in the past, at Data Republican, or if you search her out, it's Data Republican, small r. She has done a compilation thread of left-wing activity at Utah State University. Now, Utah is normally considered a very conservative state, much like Mississippi. But if you do not think that the communists and the far leftist radicals have not infiltrated Utah, if you do not think that they haven't infiltrated Ole Miss and Mississippi State in Southern, you are out of your mind. And this woman is incredible. She's deaf, and she's only ever given one public interview. It's incredible. If you have time to watch it, you should. It's a really amazing woman who uses AI to actually do amazing things. And this is the thread. And I'm going to take the time on this segment of the show to read this thread, because I want you all to see what the college experience did to this guy who ended up murdering Charlie Kirk, because he went there programmed one way and he came back something else. I'm pulling together documentation on the potential sources of political radicalization at USU, Utah State University. This thread will compile what I found. In 2019, Utah State University officially approved the new student club, the Young Democratic Socialists of America. This was the first self-identified far-left student organization recognized on campus. And it's got a picture of it there, and she's got a timestamp of 24 January 2019. It's got the little banner there. Next entry. Utah State University participates in the Democratic Erosion Consortium, which creates teaching material, policy briefs, and education resources for colleges. It also maintains Democratic Erosion event data set, a consortium which is financed by the State Department. Fake news. How Trump's attack on the media is an attack on democracy. And that's just one of the headlines there. The State Department's paying for it. And this, I just want to make sure I got the date on this right. April 4th, 2019. So Trump's own State Department was attacking him, and he was, they're just infiltrated completely into our government. Utah State University is listed as an official participant in the DEC. They publish syllabus materials, universities. Trump is regularly depicted as an existential threat to their articles. And it goes here, and it's got pictures of this, and I'm just going to pull up one right here. This is February 14th, 2025, erosion of democratic norm in Trump's America. And it goes into all of the different ways that Trump is attacking democracy in America. And you wonder, I mean, you think about MSNBC, MS Now / BS Always, and CNN, how they're always talking about democracy. It's all programmed together. These college kids, they go to college, young skulls full of mush, and they get sucked into this. Utah State University regularly publishes in this outlet, amplifying these messages. And this is one that was coming from Utah State. It wasn't always this way. How Republicans went from gatekeepers of democracy to promoters of populism, by Kyle Freant. the 4th of April, 2019. Last year, 60 to 70 pro-Palestine demonstrators held a rally, and it's got pictures and it got main coverage in the mainstream media. The the Young Democratic Socialists of America Club has a Facebook page and an X handle, and it's got it linked there. And the UDSA follows the Party for Socialism and Liberation. They follow the Party for Socialism and Liberation. They're not teaching about the Constitution. They're not teaching about America. They're undermining it. And you as parents are paying for your kids to get indoctrinated into this hot garbage. If this is what the college experience is for my daughter, she out. Their Facebook page is far more up to date, and it goes through all the different socialist organizations that they have. Their Facebook page actively posts memes about being radicalized. And this is coming from the USU page. Why do people think you go to college and get radicalized by commie professors? You go to and get radicalized by eating ramen for 2 months straight while building up a 6-figure debt and then seeing that Jeff Bezos officially became richer than God. Now, you sit there and you read this. There's no punctuation, no commas, horrible grammar, can't spell the word you. It's just you. It's not Y-O-U. These kids are being dumbed down, radicalized, can't think for themselves, and then they're being put into the real world, and they just shut down. They melt out, they fry out, and they do evil things. Discussion on Facebook claims that the YDSA fell apart and American Communist Party is the only left-wing organization left in Logan, Utah. And it's got a post on that. And she can't believe she missed it, but the page itself announces that they are recruiting USU students to form a chapter of the American Communist Party. And it's got the webpage right there. You can go ahead and look at it. And she's got all lined out. So we've really got to start paying attention what's going on at our universities, and that's going to be difficult. But you know what? You can get on a local school board. There goes Andy's school board kick again. You can start watching what's happening in your elementary, middle, and high schools a lot better than you can these universities. I promise you that. And parents, we need you. We need you because we know that parents, most of the time, won't sacrifice their kids at the unholy altar that is this left-wing craziness. And the truth of the matter is we get so busy. Pastor Frank always used to say, you're just so busy. You're just doing stuff. You need to always go, Andy, what are you actually doing? I go through the things and then I'd be like, well, things 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, I could probably just get away with and get back to 1 and 7. You'd be like, yeah. He had this way of looking at you, just smile, turn his head sideways, and got that goofy grin. If you know, you know. And I wanted to really get into that because everybody is saying that, their kids are coming back different. And this is just an example of it. And through the murder of Charlie Kirk, we're starting to get a tip of the spear and being able to see just the very front of it. For all the people who posted on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, cheering for the murder of Charlie Kirk, how many people who agree with them didn't? I won't call them sleepers, but how many people didn't do that? There's so many more out there than we don't even know. I didn't even play this clip from what's his shorts from? He used to be on CNN, used to go after I can't remember the name of it now. I didn't even play his clip. I guess it doesn't even matter. But these journalists and these teachers out there, they're playing for keeps. They're playing for your kids. And now this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk, his life is ruined. His parents, think about this. His parents, like their family life, their name is destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. We're not bringing back Charlie. We're not bringing back that kid. He's just gone. Jim Acosta, that's who it was. I've got enough time. I'm going to play this clip real quick. This is just 43 seconds of Jim Acosta complaining about the exploitation of Charlie Kirk's murder. He doesn't even call it death. He just calls it, or he calls it death. He doesn't call it a murder.
Yeah, I mean, there's exploitation going on of his death, and it's happening on the right, and it's absolutely disgraceful, and it's sending us down a course where more people are probably going to get hurt. And I mean, that to me that's where I kind of held my breath yesterday, is that, I think we're now in a moment, and there's not a whole lot you and I can do about this, Mike. You and I can talk about this until we're blue in the face or red in the face or whatever. There's not a whole hell of a lot we can do to stop what is now, I think, happening, which is we're going to be in this eye for an eye moment. People on the far right are going to use this moment.
Stop yourself, Jim Acosta. There is nobody on the right or even the far right that I know is calling for violence. In fact, on this show, both yesterday and today, no violence. We on the right, we have to control ourselves, and we are. We're pointing out all the fascists and leftist Marxists who are causing the violence, but we're not. And I implore all of us, I mean, if you don't pray for anything else, pray for peace. Peace in your own house, peace in your own heart, peace in your family, peace in your neighborhood. You're listening to Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back. Oh yeah, welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show. The time just flew by, and I have so many texts that I wanted to read, but the show just didn't unfold the way I thought. But I had to read this one. This one came in last night, actually. And I'm like, this is going to be on the show. We idolize college football and flock like sheep to these events, all dressed the same, talking the same, drinking the same, and lewd debauchery. Well, that's college football. We kind of get fired up. We attend church religiously, but at the same religion that condemned the Pharisees from the mouth of our Lord. Do we not know he is searches to find to and fro, seeking to find the one righteous? You see, when the righteous step out, he is snuffed out by the enemy. Everyone else is asleep or in darkness. Arise, O sleeper, awake from your slumber. Yeah, that preaches. And I wanted to make sure that I got that on there. And then another one came in. Andrew, it's not education, it's evangelism. I would disagree because evangelism is holy. It's indoctrination and brainwashing. But I do agree with you that the left over there is just doing absolutely craziness. And then I got this one, and this is pretty insane, actually. Well, it's not insane. It's cool. I'm grateful. Whoever denies me before man, I will also deny him before my Father in heaven. Charlie Kirk never denied, unashamedly professed his faith in Christ. Let us never stop professing our conservative faith-based beliefs. Andrew, keep up using your WYAB platform to speak for God, truth, and justice, just as Charlie Kirk did in his short time here on earth. May God continue to bless you, Pam, in Ridgeland. Pam, that was really sweet. I really appreciate that. There are a bunch of other comments about Charlie, all talking about how much they're going to miss him, how they didn't know him, but they would listen to him. And, America is going to miss Charlie Kirk. There will never be another Charlie Kirk. But I do think that through his murder, they've turned him into a martyr. And just yesterday, I have the article somewhere. Ole Miss, they had 200 new signups at Turning Point USA Ole Miss. Think about that. These kids are waking up. They're not stupid. They are not stupid. They're a little misguided and they don't see the whole picture yet, but they're figuring it out quick. And the best thing you can do if you got one of these little crumb crunchers is to support them and keep them on the straight and narrow. Explain why you think you wait the way you do. We only get one shot at this, and then we're going before the Father. And you're either going to have the best defense attorney or the most brutal prosecutor. Do you want to hear job well done, good and faithful servant, or be gone, for I never knew you? That's tough. It's Friday. It's the weekend. The Sweet Bee is sick. I'm not feeling all that hot, but we're going to have a great weekend. Continue to encourage one another and build one another up, just as you all are already doing. We'll see you in about 46 hours. And until then, love and hug on your kids, love and hug on your family members. You don't know when you get the next opportunity. Be blessed, everybody.